So yeah, this one here has like a ton of ZBrush manipulation because yeah, like I'll show you. Like this one is like the antithesis of like antithesis 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 no antithesis antithesis. There you go. Of the ZBrush one, because this one you pretty much have to like do everything by hand. It's like pretty extreme. So let me jump into that. All right. So this is all the VFX. All right, so, well, the background is the background. It's pretty much just like a desert background that I found. Then I found some trash in the wind, and I actually just put like a directional motion blur on them. The smoke I added when I had the character. I didn't add it like just like this, but and there's like a couple of like levels on the on this as well that I pretty much just like figure it out with the character so it blends correctly. But so here's the character. So that's pretty much the no, that's not the ZBrush render. Well, I mean the raw ZBrush render. This is the blending. This is the goggle effects. These are the materials. Man, it's so complicated. These are the lights. I forgot something in there. The overlays, yeah, and the rim lights. Okay, there we go. You see how gross this is? So this is like the base render of ZBrush. Like it's lacking so much. Actually, yeah, it was dark like this. Oops. There we go. Okay. So like this is what came out of ZBrush. So you see it's like my objects, like they had like poly paint already on it. I don't know if I saved an image of my of the poly paint actually. Like just the poly paint alone, because I did like save the steps. Like a couple of like passes, like my rim lights. Oh, this is another rim light. So the reflection pass in case I needed to actually add it like an overlay. My shadows, another reflection pass, another reflection pass. This is the raw render. You see, okay. So like for example, you see this is the poly paint without any shading on ZBrush. So you see that it's actually like pretty chaotic, and it's just like adding like using the AO to add some things. So in the metal, you can see like there's like some red parts. Like those I actually used like the like cavity mask to add the poly paint. Just like masking by cavity and just adding some red or whatever. So this was really just to give me like a base of like a feeling to like of colors and shades and whatever. Just so it's kind of like a bit more chaotic, a bit more like natural, I guess. You can see. So like I said, it's a lot of like using like the peak and valley or cavities to mask an area, then to choose the color, kind of like a curvature. So yeah. So this with the shading, oops, I'll close this here. This with the shading was giving like this here. So you start with that. Then, like this is a layer on top. Right off the bat, I have, thanks for the follow. I have like the materials like here. So what are the materials? What do I consider to be materials? Materials is basically just like adding like the proper like reflectance to things, because like everything is rendered with the same, like almost with the same material here. Like not really, but like there's not like that much difference. I mean, there's like the metal is a metal, and the other materials are like a bit like softer or whatnot. But like some of them needed to be boosted, and especially like the skin needed to have like an extra like amount of like detail and stuff. So like for example, if you take the metal, which one's called metal? Yeah, this one here. So you see the metal, there was actually like a pass of like specularity added to it. And specularity is really simple. It's well, I just closed Zbrush. But yeah, specularity is basically this material here. I'll just show you the steps. And, yeah. So the environment matcap is basically like my specularity. And if you play with the levels of this, you'll get like a different, well, actually, no, this is the specularity, sorry. And if you play with the level, it's going to give you like a bit of like a broader range or whatever. It's not like magical. It's not PBR. It's not keyshot, but it's enough to give you like something good. You can even like render the like a specularity that is a bit different, a bit more like broad, in case like you find it like this specularity is like too pinched or whatever. And it's basically like added in overlay to give like the extra like flashiness. Plus you can also add like other like matte caps to just give like this like added metalness to it. So really like really simple in a sense. I added some shadows as well. Some parts needed to be gold, so I just like gave them like a like extra like color to them to make sure that they're really golden. So you see, this is really just to add like the specularity and whatnot. The skin has like something extra. It's there's like this like layer of like redness to kind of like add like redness in the shadows to kind of like mimic like what skin does, like what a skin shader does. It's really rudimentary, like it's so rudimentary, but it does provide like that extra like little like redness or whatever. Plus like by hand also, like sometimes I'll just like go on top and just like add some of that. I'll actually at this point I'll put the background back. All right. So I added the rim lights because I really wanted to actually have like the sun bringing like this like extra light direction, right? And afterwards we have the overlays. So the overlays are like bringing back like some of the shadows that have disappeared. I'll actually go through them. All right. So those are like the shades, the AO and the shadows, the curvature. This doesn't really like, it's really subtle, but it was just to add like some yeah, some curvature like to it. It's very subtle. I added reflectance in the eyes a bit. Played with the hue. What did I do with the hue? Oh, I just desaturated. It was a bit too saturated. Then the soft light and the overlays, just because some parts were just like too like dark. So you see, we still have like a long way to go. I added some like reflectance in the goggles here. This was pretty much just like going back in ZBrush, choosing like a light direction and a material that gives like a specular on the goggles, and just adding it in overlay afterwards. And then the blends. So the blends is where like it starts to actually like blend with the background. And the blends, it's basically three things. So I actually took the background and I added it on top, but I masked pretty much all the character, but I blurred it. And the idea is that I wanted the color of the background to start bleeding on the edge of the character here. So you can see it with like the hair here. But start to like kind of like bleed on top like this. A bit like a bloom effect, but it really like captures the light from the background over the character. And then I added the entire sky, but like in like over the character, just to actually make sure that the color of the background is on the character as well, like I was talking earlier. And this layer is basically a copy merge of everything and blurred once again and put over, so that all the colors of the character kind of like bleed everywhere on the character. So that's what I call blending. And it does, I find that it kind of like does make the character like more like in the environment, right? Because in ZBrush, when you render, you don't have like any like GI or like global illumination or like refraction and like light bounce or blah blah blah. So you kind of like have to do it yourself, fake it yourself. And this is how I actually do it. All right, so let's just do a couple of questions before I continue. Is this the Raphgressity type workflow? It's based on it. I actually learned the idea from one of his tutorial, and then I just like added like my own sensibilities on top, right? But essentially, yeah, it was my spark came from there. Could you could always do a poll about what idea chat thinks you should do? I know how much you love polls. I love polls. I should make a poll about if I should do a poll, actually. Are there specific cases where you find yourself doing ZBrush rendering, Photoshop, comp versus Keyshot, or just whatever you feel at the time? Well, when I'm doing like fully robotic characters, I usually go for Keyshot because I want to have this kind of like car studio lighting thing. And when I'm doing like sometimes when I'm doing other things, I also like to do the ZBrush approach when I know I'm going to be like in a certain setting or that sort of stuff. Yeah, and when it's a mix of like the two, like I'll also use like Substance Painter, like the Horseman. Like this is a Substance Painter, but it's not like this is not a 3D model. This is just an image that I brought in Substance Painter. So it's really like a flat plane with an image on top. And in Substance, I actually like use the materials to give like, well, to give the effects and stuff. I brought it in Marmoset to add like rim lights and stuff. No, actually, no, wait, the rim lights are from Zbrush and treated in Substance afterwards. Yeah, exactly. Such a small thing, but makes a massive difference. Yeah, yep, I find. And this is actually was like something that I added because I was like, I've always felt that like ZBrush, one of the biggest problem with the render was the lack of atmospherics. So it's just like a quick trick that I found. I think that I found it. I'm not even sure. Like I don't even remember if I figured it out or I found it somewhere. But basically, the idea is just to blend all the colors together. I showed my friend this from ArtStation, and they were in shock and awe. You're gonna play some Adventure Time tabletop soon. Nice. I would really love to actually have a game of Adventure Time, like a fucking Elden Ring, but like in the world of Adventure Time. I find that would be really cool. Some RPG or whatever. The world is so cool of Adventure Time, and I like there's so much variety and it's so original. I would totally see like a huge, huge serious game about it. That would be nice. All right. So now, what's the next thing? Uh, composition. Composition is I don't even remember. Oh yeah, composition is just merging. Yeah, exactly. It's just merging the images so I can turn my bottom layer at off because it just makes Photoshop lag when you have too much like layers open. So at some point I just copy merge everything and put it on top here. Okay, and now the rest, the next layer is all my hand corrections. So this is like pretty much just like adding overlays, like adding stuff that's really specific. Like for example, if you look at the face here, so there's like overlays to kind of like take the focus where I actually wanted it to be, but also like the hair. So you see like around the ear here, like the ZBrush fiber mesh kind of like gave some weird like things here. So like by hand, I just like smoothed them, added the shadow correctly. So I really just treated it like yeah. Here, like the hair needed some work. See, like before, after, it's just a bit more blending. Let's look at like the face here. So especially like the hair, because like these are just like meshes, right, in ZBrush, like standard meshes. But yeah, I just needed like a little bit more like flyaway hair and stuff to make it a little bit more credible. Worked on the focus for the mouth. The nose also needed some like redness and stuff. So this is where I added the rest of the redness for the skin to look more realistic. A little bit more like focus on the eyes as well. So yeah, a lot of that. And then the effects folder. So the effects folder here is basically like the last like push of like mooded atmospherics. All right. So this is where we were before. So the first thing here is once again just like some blending, but just done by hand. It's very subtle, but it's just like often just like capturing like a color on the side and painting it. Oops. Just like painting it like on the character, like taking the pinch, painting it here, taking some of the black here, putting a bit around just to blend once again, but very subtle. This is some vignette. It's the logo. That's the bloom. So once again, the bloom like I did in Keyshot, just to kind of like add some like vibrance to the highlights in the image in screen mode. Then what's that layer? It's just for the bottom. Oh yeah, because that tube is like further in the distance. So I just felt that it needed to be like a little bit more blended with the background even more. Like the more things are at the back, the more that they actually like really like all blend together in terms of lighting, especially. They tend to be brighter and stuff. This is just a noise filter. It doesn't really do much. I think we don't even gonna see the difference actually. Oh yeah, it's subtle. But like with the video, you might not even see it. Some fog. This is once again to blend stuff together. So adding like this like foreground of like color, it just helps like to unify everything. Just have like one color like over everything that kind of like influences everything, just like not neutralizes, it balances everything to fit together as well. Thanks for the follow. Some particles. I don't even see them. Sometimes it's like, let me put it to 100. What particles? Oh, okay, yeah, there's like some dust things right there. Jesus. All right, particles in motion. Yeah, these ones are a bit more apparent. I just added some particles and put a motion blur on them. This is a vignette. Oh, this is a little like sheen of light right there. Then I did some more like and paint. I felt that it was not like still calibrated correctly, so I added some extra overlays of color to just like boost the interest of certain areas. And this whole thing here is just a ton of like photo filter color balance. See, without and with them, it just adds like this little extra like oomph to things. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So from goddamn ugly to reasonably well rendered. And that's all done in ZBrush. So, and it's a good exercise. I find it's a really good exercise to actually have, like to do everything by hand, basically, in quotes, by hand. Because it kind of like makes you like try to focus and understand the right things, and how things are like how things happen, and like this there was a lot of like studying images and studying photos and that sort of stuff. So so yeah, no, it's just a good exercise. I like it. Love the missing tooth. Such an amazing touch. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, he's a 12 years old or something like that. A 12 years old kid who's either has not have all of his teeth yet, or broke a few one just by roughhousing and stuff. That's how I see Finn. Rat Lord. Hello. Nice Finn and Jake. Adventure Time is my childhood favorite show. Yep, I love it as well. It really like well, for me it was not my childhood because I'm much older, but even as an adult I was like, all right, that show has something interesting, and it's crazy. It's absolutely like off the hook, but it's a good one. Uh oh yeah, Rat is here. Hello, hello. Always watching. Awesome work, by the way. I recognize your work from ArtStation. Cool. Awesome. He goes from 12 to 17 in the show, I think. Yeah, but probably. I mean, 17 feels old, but he does like mature for sure throughout the story. That's certain. That's certain. I would have guessed that it would have been from 11, 12 to 15, but I mean, probably there's a Wikipedia that like has the answer. Maybe you actually checked already and you have the right answer. Jake is old though. Yeah, Jake is old, but he's also like immortal in a sense. uh, what do you do for a living, by the way? I've seen your work, but I don't know much. Um, well, thanks for the follow. Um, well, I'm the co-founder, owner, art director, business manager, and artist at Chaos Masons, the outsourcing company. Um, so yeah, that's it would take a long time talking about myself, but that's pretty much what I do. Uh, oh, and yeah, one of my friend worked on Adventure Time. He's working on the new Fiona and Cake show. Oh, I didn't even know that there's going to be a Fiona and Cake show. That's cool. So you have a friend that's like is it in Vancouver that he or she lives? Because I have a couple of friends in Vancouver that actually also worked on the show. There's an episode where Fern crashes his birthday party and Finn says, "Who's this 17-year-old man?" and rips off his shirt. Yeah, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me that Fern or Finn don't remember really their age, and they actually they age themselves more, right? But if they say it, I would believe it. So this would mean that he actually, it's not that he still has baby teeth, it's that he broke a few teeth, which is really cool. And the idea of the character. He lives in LA. Well, yeah, LA and Vancouver are pretty close to each other. Um, yeah, exactly. All right. So I'm pretty much near the end of my stream, but I know some people wanted to see a bit of vector brawler, so let's just check real quick. Vector brawler was also rendered in Zbrush. Yeah, I'm near the end. I bet there's some hidden gem amongst those folders. All my good stuff is online, and except for the Archangels project that I'm working on right now, which might be my next stream. Like I said, I'm working on either the Just for a Laugh mascot or Frog in Elden Ring, but uh, there's chances that I also work on the next my next Archangel project, which is my big project. The world would never see. Actually, that's more like Cedric. Cedric has a ton of things that he did that the world would never see, and I'm just like, it's so awesome, but he doesn't show it. Any medieval fantasy stuff in the works? Medieval fantasy, well, no, except for maybe the frog in Elden Ring. That would be my next medieval thing. Like I'm actually really looking forward to do something medieval because I've been working on sci-fi for a long time now, and I need to change a bit. Yeah, our good old frog. I'm in Montreal, Canada. All right, so here we have Victor Brawler. Um, the the most interesting part is the head for sure. The rest is it's more simple, let's say. The poly paint is a bit dark, might be a bit hard to see, but yeah, that's pretty much the character here. This character was actually meant to be actually textured in Arnold. It never actually was. I was supposed to do that with a friend. The test was actually to have all of these meshes have like a lower subdivision level. So you see they all have like this subdivision level, but you see like the mesh is not really following like following the shapes really. You see? But we wanted to test if like we were able to just basically like do a vertex displacement map. That's why not vertex but vector displacement map. This is why I called the guy Vector. That's just it, because it was supposed to be a test for vector displacement. And the crazy thing is that we were actually able to do it. Like we just used the character with like the Zbrush topology, which is not even following the details correctly. And we actually got a perfect result with the vector displacement. It was crazy. The weird thing though is that we tried to replicate it afterwards and it just stopped working. It's crazy. I don't understand like what happened there, but it did work for one test. And yeah, well, we're supposed to texture it like in another renderer and everything, and yeah, it was actually rendered. But the render I put on the internet was just my ZBrush render because I couldn't really use what I did in the Substance Painter for this character, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's the sculpt. He's in like many parts for sure. Like this character has like a lot of intricate detail. Like I just really wanted to test the vector displacement, how he would react. If I was to print this character, like in a 1/4 scale, like I feel that I would need to boost a lot of the details because these details are really small. And it's cool. It's cool to like, especially for renders, to have like this amount of like intricate detail and like this small frequency of detail as well. But like a lot of like what I do is oriented for printing, and I'll often like exaggerate my details so that they actually like show more after the print. Like you see like all this section here of like details like here on the mouth, and this is like much too small and it's just lost completely. Whereas like if you look at the if you look at like the teaser images that I posted on Instagram or like whatever other social medias we have, like this is like the Archangel character that's coming. And if you look at the frequency of detail is not that small, because that character is meant to be like printed afterwards. So like some things have like grain, and there's like some details like for fabric and whatnot. But if you look at like the surface and like the details, like I don't go in like really intricate detail. like I try to keep like everything looking good from like a certain distance, because I know that like my small detail are just going to be like lost. So so yeah. But for the vector for this vector guy, yeah, I went a bit all out with like the small frequency of detail and everything. The rest is insane too. Thanks, man. Simple in quotes. Dang, this is beautiful. Thanks, Ratlord. That's much appreciated. Love the detailing. Alden and ZBrush. Yep, Alden and ZBrush, 100%. 100%. Dan, this is so cool. Incredible work. Thanks. I appreciate it. So many parts. Holy, yeah, it was took a long time for sure. What does it look like under the parts? Oh, I can show. So the under part is nothing, because we would never look at it. And if you just remove that, there's just my my filler. There's always like a filler in the middle. Like in that case, like you see, it's just because like some areas sometimes like were like there was some like negative space, and I just wanted to have like something that exists under. What you see, it's just like a connection of all those parts together. How did you create the mesh detail on the side of the helmet? You mean this thing here? It's just like insets and circles done with the Z modeler. Probably the most beautiful sci-fi sculpt ever done. I love this character so much. Il est bien gentil, SKR. Thank you. It's much appreciated. I've been using Marvelous Designer for fabric. Do you recommend using ZBrush fabric feature for project like these? Well, I mean, when things are not like super like like cloth centric, normally I just try to like get around with like what ZBrush gives me, and I'm pretty happy with the details, or I'm just gonna hand sculpt them. I'll show you like there's actually, I show it on one of my streams. So if you go on like the link here, you go on our YouTube page, you'll see there's a playlist of like all my Mantis hours, and one of them is called like rigid cloth or clothing cloth, whatever. And I show like the cloth hook brush in action, and it's basically like what I used to make kind of like the folds around like this area in like in a matter of like seconds, or like this kind of like detail here. I just find that it gives like it gives a really cool cloth base. Like this part is done by hand, and yeah, so I try to not like bother too much. If like the point of the character is not to be like a cloth study or like something really like important that like the cloth is like simulated and real, normally like I just like do it by hand like this, or with the brush, the cloth hook brush. Otherwise, otherwise sometimes I'll use Marvelous, especially like for like things that are like large draperies or whatever, you know? I think Marco just hand sculpts the fabric too. He isn't human like that. Sometimes, some of them. I would love to see how this turns into a game asset or retopology. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see this character in action, animated and everything. It would be great for sure. I see. So all of this is done by the polygroup and extract method with Z remesh. A lot of it, yeah. Some stuff is just like hand sculpted as well, like the inside part of the head. So you see, like this part, this is all hand sculpted. But some parts are separated, like this is separated, this is separated, this is separated. But I always have like a mesh at the center that I call my like filler mesh, or what was the other word I was using last time? The binding agent. Some like mesh that acts like binding agent. And yeah, Dynamesh for blocking for sure. Oh, that's neat, man. I don't use ZModeler. I use Blender and import. I need to learn how to use ZModeler. Yeah, ZModeler can do a lot of nice things. Polygons pusher, hello. I see. That's nice that it's done by hand. Yep. So for these characters, do you use mainly ZModeler for the surfaces? How much do you start off with, let's say, a Dynamesh sphere? Is that, well, you know what? That's a pretty long question. I would actually say you should watch our streams that I did in the past, and you'll get your answer, because I did hours and hours of showing that method. So it'll be probably like a better learning experience for you to just check back on the old stuff that I posted on YouTube. I hope I phrased that question correctly. Yeah. I've seen some people sculpt a piece from the body armor and redo it in ZModeler. Yeah, check it out and come back on the stream and we'll talk about it. Try Quad. Hey Marco, I've been getting into ZBrush sculpting as there is. Tips for getting the shapes right. I mean, you'll probably need to find like a course on character design, even if it's 2D. It'll teach you like some techniques or how to try some stuff and figure out how to get the proper silhouettes and everything. I mean, throughout my streams, I gave a few tips and stuff, but I never really elaborated like a course about that, because things are not like necessarily like clear in my head. It's more like instinctual. But yeah, unfortunately, it's hard to answer this one. You'll need to find like a tutorial on design. That's where you'll get your answer. And like I said, it doesn't even need to be 3D. Well, now I know what I'm doing this afternoon. Hey, watch out, there's like more than like, there's like about like 30 hours of work, 40, no, more than that. There's probably like 80 hours of like footage and stuff. It's crazy the amount of time I put on this study mode. Thank you, Polygon Pusher. Yeah. Very excited to watch. Cool. All right. So yeah, I don't know if there's not really like much to show, but like this is also like this is also ZModeler that I used for this character, and the technique is pretty much the same. If I was to go through like my list of layers, you would see basically like the same thing: the blending, the this and the that, the little flares, that sort of stuff. So yeah, like I said, I find like this is like not bad at all. I find like render, even if it's fully like hard surface and mech and metal and blah blah blah. So I find that like ZBrush is pretty good at like doing like you can get around with ZBrush really easily. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe if it's like really raw metal materials, sometimes it can be like a bit hard to get them right. But if you have like plastics or painted metals and that sort of stuff, I find that like you can get some decent results just in ZBrush. Like I said, this is a render in ZBrush. Oops. So yeah. Yeah. Thanks, man. I'll try to get into that. Cool. Mike Gomez. Oh my god, hi. Super fan. Hey, thanks, Mike. It's appreciated. Can we see the ZBrush file for Ashen 0 next stream? Feels good, man. Well, maybe I can like show just a little bit quickly now because I don't know if I'll have like a lot to say about it. I can always come back on it, but like, let me open the file right now. Thanks for the follow. Gorgeous work. I'll have to go now, but thanks you so much for sharing your work. Hey, no problem, Red Lord. I'll see you soon. I hope. I'm guessing you don't stream often, but if you have a schedule, I'd love to know. My schedule is every Wednesday night, and sometimes I do surprise streams. I have to leave for the middle part of the stream, but we'll catch the replay. The renders came out sweet. Look forward to what you will do in the next stream. Cool, Karamako. It's nice to hear, so thank you. Oh, awesome, thanks. Your Red Lord is here too, Pog. Wednesday night, let's go! I just hope to be there next time. Cool, alright, well, you're welcome. I'm a student, and I hope when they do things like you do, well, it's just a question of time and effort. So I wish you good luck. Alright, so yeah. So this is Zero in the world of Dark Souls. Let's give him a... This is maybe a bit too intense. I guess that was the right material. So the idea was to just do like some zombie version of Zero. Get good. Yeah. So a few things to say about Zero. Well, like for this character, unlike sci-fi, when it comes to like medieval stuff, I tend to like give a lot of like surface detail and surface noise. Because sci-fi, I really want to have this like clean aesthetic, and I let the texture kind of like give the weathering. Whereas for like medieval stuff, right off the bat, I feel like it's like it gives like a cool look to kind of like weather the surface and give it some grain and whatever. And same for the material, like a thick cottony material. I'll actually like make sure to have like the fiber really show with some like weathering just here and there to give some life to the material. Yeah, and also like for like ripped pieces of clothing, you can just add like a fiber mesh on the contour, and it instantly gives like this would not print for sure, right? This is just for the render, but it gives like a cool like ripped effect. And it's really like the fiber mesh with like just like basic like values. It's not even like crazy. And this is like the ripping on the edge, like with like a variation of the dam standard. to create like those like kind of like pinches and stuff. What else to say? What else to say? The chainmail is nano mesh. The chainmail is not even perfect. There's like some areas that the chainmail is like completely whacked out, like here. But like, who cares? You see, I don't even like render like my character like equally everywhere. Like I just rendered where we could see the character. Like these are the belts. Like I tried to really like give some life, like the areas of the belt that like might actually not really be like attached correctly. Just give them a little like a little bend or whatever. Also, like the leather has like a certain material property. There's a lot of like weathering. Like I find it's kind of like what gives like the visual richness to this character. Man, I have schoolwork to do, but this is much more interesting. But my linguistics paper is calling me. I may or may not be back. That's cool. Rat Lord, I don't want to impede on your school either. Is that fiber, polygon, or 2D noise? Yeah, it's fiber. Did you sculpt all the fabric too? Yes. Some, like the cape, I think is made by hand. Skirt as well. I think for the hood, I used the Marvelous to kind of like have like the base flow. Is that some sort of noise generation? Well, the fabric is UV. I just UV'd this fabric, and I've put a like a material texture on it, like as a eighth map. Just some like random fabric material. Sometimes I use it as an alpha brush also. Like this material actually works well just as an alpha brush. It's kind of like easy to overlap like the different like alpha strokes. Some materials like, especially like directional materials, sometimes they're hard to really like make work in like with an alpha brush. You make low poly and UV unwrap so you can add fabric surface noise. Yeah, sometimes. Yep. Well, I mean, I low poly pretty much all my like all my subtools always have like a lower subdivision level. It helps with like moving in a viewport, and it also like lets you do like all the UV things and whatnot. We are all here just attacking your brain for the slightest bit of knowledge. That's cool. That's why I'm here. I don't have a problem with that. Hungry artist must consume knowledge. We're hungry indeed. Learning from the best is a gift. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. DW, I'm a senior. I'm gonna graduate regardless of me completing that paper or not. It's good. Height map, I need to do more with texture, ZBrush texturing. Yeah. How did you do the edge of fabric? Not the fiber part, just the really rough edging. Well, it's a brush that I created. It's really just called the rip brush. And it's basically just like that detail. So I'll just try to find like a part that's not withered. So yeah, you see like this. We have a layer. Okay. So it's really simple. Like if you press on it, like comes out like this. And if you use Alt, it goes in like this. And the goal is just to, oh, thanks for the follow. Just do like a mix of like in and out. And it gives like this little like destroyed feeling. And like if you can even do like stuff like that here where like you can basically like draw like an edge like this, like another edge like this. And then you can do like the negative part like this. And then you can take your move brush with AccuCurve and you can kind of like just drop like the edge here. And it kind of like gives like this like ripped impression, but like you kind of like need to get rid of the fabric detail in the middle and maybe replace it with something more chaotic. That sort of stuff. Yeah. Rip brush. How did you do the? Could you compare this to a really rough dam standard? Well, yes, it's really just a standard brush with like that like it's almost the equivalent of like one line of this thing here, and it'll do the trick. You can even like try applying it to dam standard and see if like that pinchy aspect of dam standard works well with that alpha. Oh, awesome. That seems similar to the slash brush. Oh yeah, kind of. I mean, slash has the like it like kind of like overlaps also a bit more. Very cool. You sell any brushes? We have a couple of alphas, but I don't really sell all the brushes. And the reason really is that I really often forget if I found it somewhere or created it myself. And I don't want to sell something that like already exists. It wouldn't be fair. And this is really just because I'm scatterbrained. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it because I'm starting to get really tired. Maybe last question. Is the approach of the metal armor similar to how you do the sci-fi armor but with extra weathering? Yeah, exactly. It's just extra weathering. Plus, I'm not as anal with like surface cleanness because I know I'm going to like temper it later. Like temper with it, I mean. But yes, it's a panel loop and everything and that sort of stuff. Just less anal with the cleanness of the surface and the thicknesses. A question: how did you make the torn cloth? Is it fiber mesh? Well, I just explained it. Maybe you just arrived. The little fiber at the tip here is just fiber mesh. Yeah, fiber mesh on the edge here. Thanks for the stream as always, Marco. Hey, no problem. Thank you for answering our question. It's my pleasure. That was really a stream where I didn't do much 3D, but just showed like more of like my rendering process and everything. So yeah, I might actually split for YouTube. I think I'm gonna split this stream into like 2 or 3 parts because I kind of like explained a lot of things. Anyways, so yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Really appreciate it. Hey, no problem. You should ZBrush. It can be powerful for rendering. Yeah, exactly. If you push the composition, yeah, absolutely. Dukes. Thanks, Marco. No problem. All right. Yep, this is going to be it. I'm going to make a raid for those who want to join. Somebody that's been raiding me a couple of times, so we're going to raid him this time. There we go. All right. Yeah, Twitch community. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining me. It was great. And for those who are going to continue working, I wish you a good Sculpt Soirée. And otherwise, I will see you soon enough. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.